Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddie. I've been wanting this for a really long time now, and I thought after waiting for so long and looking for the right time, I think it's finally time. I really wanted to create a video that reflected me, and I could never think of something. I was like, oh, let me go record something while going apple picking, or going down the shore, or going just traveling and doing fun stuff with my boyfriend. But what really did it for me was something that happened this past year. 10 months ago, I found out that I had cancer. It was really tough. I was in the middle of school, and I just get this call from my doctor saying he's so sorry, and it's everything you think about cancer. You're like, oh my god, I'm too young for this. Why is this happening to me? And then you kind of just have to sit there and think and get a good cry in and be like, okay, so what's the next steps? I had a really good support system going through this, and that's what really was the biggest part of me being able to go through this and just help me live life to my fullest for the past couple months. Obviously, we've been in COVID, so it's actually been better for me in a way, meaning that I didn't feel like people would be looking at me weird because so many people look weird with these masks on, or that as many people aren't going out, or I don't have to shelter myself away and hide because I'm afraid of getting sick, because everyone's afraid of getting sick right now. So that was a benefit. But I kind of want to really make this video over some misconceptions, or just what you may be experiencing if you yourself have been diagnosed, or know somebody, or just want to listen or figure out what it's like. So I was diagnosed in January of 2020. It was the end of the month. I had a lump on this side, this side of my neck for about 4 or 5 months. It was a lymph node. I know a lot of people get them enlarged when you're sick. I never had that happen, but I was like, okay, maybe that's what it was. I went to a doctor in October. He gave me some antibiotics. Didn't really go away, so he made me go to an ENT. After I went to the ENT, he explained to me he's felt many cancerous necks, and this does not feel like a cancerous neck, but we're gonna go for a fine needle biopsy anyway. They stick a little needle in there, numb the area, take a little bit of tissue out, and they test it to see if it's cancerous or not. Lo and behold, it doesn't come back cancerous. It's the end of November at this point. Finals are coming. Christmas is coming, my favorite holiday. I'm not concerned about this whatsoever, and I did this. I never did anything really alone medically. But this was the first thing I kind of just was like, oh, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go take care of myself, Mom. I got it. And so when we got the call from the ENT saying that, oh, it's fine, not cancerous, but they definitely should come out because they were just so enlarged, and you really don't want to be walking around with that on your neck anyway. So I was like, okay, whatever, we'll wait. We'll just get them removed in January at some point. End of the month happens, my grandmother passes away, January comes, new school year starts, and they're not going away. They are starting to become really irritable, like bothersome, and I was like, me and my parents were like, it's time, we gotta go back to the doctors and get these checked out. And the only thing that really helped actually in that time was NyQuil and Dayquil. I took it for a complete week, and it ended up making them subside, the pain subside, them reduce in size. So I was like, okay, definitely is an infection. Anyway, we go to the doctor, and he's like, yeah, it's an infection, but you know what, we're just gonna do some extra x-rays just in case, and we'll go from there. So we go for the x-rays, and lo and behold, they show something much more severe. A blood cancer, to be specific, because that's what lymph nodes are. And then we're like, okay, we're thinking about this all the time. We're like, what else can it be? What else can it possibly be? And you know, my parents never kind of showed, like, they weren't scared. They were just like, I couldn't even explain it. It was almost just like, okay, so what do we do next now? And I know inside they were really like, it was really tough on them, for sure, because I definitely asked them later on, like, how do you guys feel? And then it's just like, it's a punch in the gut knowing your child can possibly have cancer. So I go to get the one lymph node removed right here, and the doctor comes out. I didn't know. The doctor comes out and tells my mom, yeah, this is a type of lymphoma cancer. So she knows, but we didn't really get the news, like, as a family until I think like a week later or so, when we went back to see the surgeon that took out the lymph node, and she's like, this is a type of lymphoma. It looks like Hodgkin's lymphoma. There's two kinds, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and Hodgkin's lymphoma. Hodgkin's lymphoma is less severe than non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a good thing in my case. And my mom cried and everything. She was so happy, as happy as you can be knowing your child has cancer, right? But it was great, and we took every steps really, really quick. So within January, and then February went for this. Then right after was the steps to getting my eggs frozen, and that's something that I really was wanting to do. My parents really want to do. It's not something that, excuse me, it's not something that a lot of people that I knew how to go through, because they were much older when they got diagnosed. So you already had your kids, or you've already decided you're not going to have them, and etc. I always wanted to be a mom, so there was something that was really important to me. And so we ended up going to IMRS, IMRS, and I started the process of getting my eggs frozen. I had to get off birth control, start getting injections into my lower part of my stomach, and that was about a 2-week span. And you know, nothing really changes so much in your body as much as, like, I think they anticipate you to feel. I didn't feel more bloated. I didn't feel crampy, because you're getting like a period to the max is what it's supposed to be, but I didn't feel that. And so after that, I went into surgery, I think March 8th, for to get them frozen. They go in, it's like a 30-minute surgery. They go in, and at this point your eggs look like grapefruits, and they go in there, you're asleep. They take 2 needles, go up into your ovaries, and take them out, and that is the process. And I was able to get, I believe, 21 eggs out, which apparently is a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot, especially when you're told, like, when you're going through your what's it called? I'm gonna say your sex class in middle school. I can't even think of the name right now. But when you're going through a class, you're told you have so many millions of eggs and yada yada yada. So I assume 20 was not that many, but after even watching Real Housewives, I remember one of them was saying I was only able to get 4 eggs, and I mean, obviously it's a 20-year difference, but still. So that was a real sign of relief. Unfortunately, I won't know if the eggs are viable until I go to use them, and that's when I have to create an embryo. And when you have an embryo, then you know if it's viable or not. I was not gonna have an embryo created at 21 with my boyfriend right now, because who knows what's gonna happen, and I don't want to go down the line and have to use that embryo and I'm not with my boyfriend anymore. But so that happens, and then March 10th comes around, and I was supposed to be my first day of chemo, and it was. But I went and got it through my hand, IV, and my God, it is painful. The pain just, it's not a couple first medicines, it's just like a normal, you're sitting there kind of chilling and whatever else. And then the last medicine they give you, it starts with a D, Gyrobicin, something like that. I honestly would have to create a whole nother video and get into real detail about it. But it burns. I cannot explain. It is really like fire going through your veins. And they've always explained it like that. Like, this is chemo is fire going through your veins. It's poison. That is what it feels like. And so that was very painful. It makes the chemo 2 hours longer just from that one medicine alone, because it's so painful. The next time I went, I did the same thing, but they didn't want to use the same arm again because you're using the veins and it's doing a lot of damage. So I went onto this arm, and by that time, you know, I was sitting there alone. My dad went onto a phone call. He went and got me pizza, actually. And I'm just sitting there, and it's painful, and it's taking more time. And I just started to cry, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Of course you don't want to do it, right? But there was the option of something called the port as well, which is a little metal piece that actually just got removed. It's right here. And they're able to put the needle in there, and it goes into like a bigger artery or a bigger vein, and you don't feel any pain. You just sit there and take it. You don't really feel anything, but you don't. And so that was the other option. We heard about it on the very first day of chemo when I got it injected into my hand, but we heard a lot of things in the past, that they can get infected easily, that it's a whole extra process if it does get infected, and I just wanted to be in and out. I didn't want to deal with extra stuff. I'm 21, going through school, just want to graduate. This is not how my life's supposed to be going. So we talked to the nurse there, and she tells me right off the bat, she's like, if you were my daughter, you would have had it long before you even started chemo. And so we take that into consideration. And then, I talked to another nurse there who has a port, because she has to get blood infusions and whatever else weekly. And she's like, it's the best thing I've ever done. She's like, I went 10 years without having it, and it was terrible. It was a complete life changer. I go home to tell my mom, because she's the one that really didn't want me to get it. And then we call another oncologist nurse that we know, and she said it's fantastic, she should get it, yada yada yada. So I go, I get it. The day after I get it, I get my next chemo treatment. It's my third chemo treatment at this point, and I don't feel a single thing. And I didn't feel a single thing the entire rest of my chemo treatments. I had 12 in total. And it was probably the best decision that was made during that whole time span. Now, why didn't I get it prior? Neither of the oncologists that I saw told me that I should get it. In fact, the other one, the one I went with, he told me that I was so young, I don't need to have a port put in, my veins can take it. Yeah, stuff like that. The nurses were, I don't want to say much more informed than the doctor, because the doctor is the doctor for the reason, but they see patients on a daily basis and know that the port is really the way to go for the patients, and they really do need it. And what they told me was my veins were so tiny, eventually I was going to have to get a port put in anyway. And so that was the moment, and I just had it from there. There's a lot of stuff in between having chemo and things that you have to deal with, and I'd probably make another video because it's already getting pretty long about all of the stuff in between. But I just wanted to share my story a little bit to have other people know about it, and for other people to maybe know that there's other people out there that are young that have been going through this, or if you're diagnosed that there is people your age that are sick or have been sick and have went through it, and there's just a lot of stuff that I wish I would have known going in, and I kind of wish there was a video out there for me. Maybe if I did look it up, I would have found it, but I don't know. I just felt like I needed to put my own story out there for somebody that may need it. And yeah, so my last chemo treatment was August 10th, and in that time span since then, I've just been trying to get acclimated back to being normal. I just recently got my port taken out yesterday, so I'm having that heal. I'm getting my hair back with what strands I have. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening and sitting through all of it. I'll make another video soon about the details of what happened in chemo, what maybe the egg freezing was like, a couple more specific videos with some resources, because I know that'd be really important for some girls, especially in the tri-state area maybe where I live, that can definitely get help or are looking for certain doctors or hospitals that can really help with things. So again, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and because I want to keep doing this again, because this wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Alright, have a nice day.